So it's been all of 1 week since Mark Carney looked deep into the eyes of Donald Trump and described him as a transformational president. Since then, however, Mark Carney himself has put together a transformational cabinet, one that was unveiled today and one which, quite frankly, had more than a few surprises and some curiosities. Let's address the big question right off the bat. Chrystia Freeland, whose resignation as finance minister under Justin Trudeau led to Trudeau's departure from politics, to Mark Carney's being chosen Liberal leader and then being elected prime minister, remains in cabinet. She will be transport minister. And if this could be perceived as a slap in the face to Trump, who has described Madame Freeland as a respectable woman, well, guess what? It probably is. But the fact is, she is there, not in a trade-related portfolio, but I'd be very, very surprised if Madame Freeland's counsel is not sought out. Steve Guilbeault, who was the environment minister and then became culture minister, was rumored to be out of cabinet, but he remains in cabinet as culture minister. However, he is not going to be, or apparently is not designated as Carney's Quebec lieutenant, which leaves an interesting gap. Speaking of gaps, Carlos Letao, former Quebec Liberal finance minister, was rumored to have the fast track as a cabinet minister in this particular government. He was elected. He is an MP. He is a part of the government, but he's not in the cabinet, which is rather interesting. Melanie Joly, who had global affairs, has gone to industry. There's only a total of 28 cabinet ministers here compared to the 39 that were in Trudeau's government. 13 of them were members of Trudeau's government. So this is not exactly as big a break as perhaps people would like to see between the current government and the last one. However, there are 10 secretaries of state. These are kind of like minor cabinet ministers with very, very specific portfolios. We have, for example, a Secretary of State for the fight against crime, a Secretary of State for defense procurement, which suggests that Carney is quite serious about upping our contribution to NATO. We have a Secretary of State in charge of seniors, as well as a Secretary of State in charge of children and youth. And that post has been given to Anna Gainey, who is the MP for Notre-Dame-de-Grâce. Natalie Provost, a gun control activist, is the Secretary of State for Nature. I have no idea what that means. I presume it's related to the environment, which is also a separate portfolio. Lots of new names, lots of new descriptions, and not a very, how can I put it? It's not a cabinet where it's easy to connect all the dots. I mean, on the one hand, there is the mandate, the priority of dealing with the U.S. and trade, but there also seems to have been a real conscious decision here to keep the past, i.e. Justin Trudeau's government, at arm's length. How easy will that be to do when 13 of the members of that cabinet were serving with Justin Trudeau? That remains to be seen.